Hi guys, welcome to how to make do list app in iOS and Swift. So let's go ahead and start Xcode. So click on File, New, and Single View Application, and click on Next, and name it To-Do List App. And the teams, you can just select none for now, and org that your first name, Swift for the language, and click next, and create a path where you're gonna save this project. It can be on the desktop, so that's why I'm gonna select it. Click on create, and there you go. So we have a started project to work on, and it has a view controller and a storyboard. So what we're going to do today is we're going to create a to-do list app where you add tasks to a list, and you can remove by swiping left on the scroll view. So you basically have tasks, and you can remove it by swiping, and you can also add tasks by pressing the plus button on the navigation controller, where navigation controller is usually the top section of the iOS where you have it's right here, as you can see, like on the notch. So this is the navigation controller right here, and that's where we're gonna basically add a plus button. So you have your view controller, and let's go ahead and add a table view. Table view is basically a view that has a list of items. And the easiest way to add a table view is just to drag a table view from the library of controls. So if you press this plus button right here, and you can basically add a table view just by typing table view. And when you type it, it auto-populates it. And you can just go ahead and click and drag right to here. There you go. And once you've dragged it over, you can just go ahead and center it by dragging it over where the line is. And so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and set the constraints for this table view. So we want to be able to expand on all corners. So the left, right, top, bottom is gonna expand. So in order to expand it, you press this button right here. It's called Add New Constraints. And we're gonna basically align it to the 0. So we're gonna click on this red lines all around it. So it basically all this, like I was saying, it was the top, bottom, left, and right constraints. How far it is from the distance from the view. So if you click on this arrow down, it tells you it's from the safe area. So safe area is usually the top section right here, and also the bottom section. So you don't want the table view to expand beyond that. So you want to go ahead, and because you have the home button, you don't have the home button here. But if you had an iPhone 8, then you would have home button, then you don't have to worry. But it's only for devices that are not iPhone 8. So if I click on this again, and because I didn't say add constraints, it didn't do anything, so I'll just click on it again and highlight it, and I just do 0 on each side. Just type 0. There you go. That's it. Okay, so now I add the constraints. Now I'm good. So you can see, like, it didn't go above the notch. Remember I was saying the safe area? Alright, so now we go to view controller, and we basically add the table view to the code. In order to do that, we open this right here, and we press this plus button in order to create another view. So you select the recent files and click on the main storyboard, and this will create we can go ahead and just do IB outlet and say table view, and UI table view, exclamation marks, and I can just connect it here like that. It's connected. So The reason we're getting that error, so we can close this side view. It says it's a var, so yeah, any variable starts with a var. So there you go. And we can also, what we need to do is connect all the important information about the table view. So I want to be able to load the table view. In order to load the table view, I need to connect all the controls. So what I need to do is make this an extension view controller UI table view delegate. So delegate is basically all the control. It's gonna delegate the responsibility. This class is gonna delegate the responsibility of the table view. So the delegate is gonna do a number of sections. This one is a did select row the next path. So we get that one. And we also want it to be a data source. So data source does all the filling collection, like filling all the table, and also how many rows it has and how many sections it has. It determines all that. And those are required methods. So UI table view data source. So the number of sections. Alright, number of rows and section, and I want number of sections. If you were to like do this and just go ahead and delete everything, it will tell you that you need so you can just delete those methods. So it's gonna tell you type view does not confirm. It doesn't confirm, so you have to say fix, and it will add all the required. So that one's a required. The number of sections is not required, but we need a number of sections to tell you how many sections it has and number of rows. So in order to, so what this does is it calls this method. Like let's say you say number of rows is 1, it will call it 1. So if it has 2, it will call this method 2. And I want to go ahead and get a cell. So I'm going to say tableView reusable cell with identifier. So I have to set my identifier by just going to the storyboard and click on the storyboard and say prototype cell equals to 1, and click on the cell and say reuse identifier is cell. Now you can name it anything you like, but I'm just going to say cell. Go back to the view controller and go ahead and say cell here and say index path. So what I'm doing is I'm telling this method that get the identifier, get the cell with the identifier cell at that index path. So if we're at index path of 0, so since I'm saying number of rows, I'm gonna say like let's say 10. Return 10. I'm just gonna test it, and then we're gonna fill out an array of all the. And we want just one section. So, and this one is we're just gonna return the cell, but we can actually put like a text field on the cell. So text table.text, and we're just gonna update the text to hello tasks, and we're gonna return the cell. So once we return the cell, we're all complete because now we've set things. One thing that we really need to set is we need to set the data source to this. So we will say that, hey, you become the delegate, this class, the view controller, and you become the data source. So this class will become that. In order to become that data source and delegate, so it will call this methods that we implemented, this table view self role. Then we need to say, okay, table view delegate become self, me. I'm going to be the delegate, and I'm going to be also the data source. So now you can use the delegate. So we're going to implement one more method. So did select row and index path, and we're going to deselect that row in the beginning. deselect. So this deselects on highlights the first row. And animated is basically if you want animation. But usually I don't want animation, so deselect row. It's saying that cannot convert index path. Index path. Actually, index path is if you look at the index path, it's really so you can actually drill down to like the classes even though you come to definition. And index path has an element which is an integer, and it has a we call it a section. So if I were to create an index path, I would say let index path, and I say index path. See, I have to say IN capital N. Yeah, so I can create an index by myself. And it says item and section. So I can have an item and section for the index path. I can also have an array and I can have sequence. So if you run this, I expect it to give me a cell, 10 cells, and it would say on each cell hello test. That's what I'm expecting. So let's go ahead and run it. If you press the play button, you should be able to run it. And I'm bringing it. If you go to the main storyboard, yeah, it just was taking a long time. So yeah, so you got 10 hello tasks, and so we can make that a to-do list, and we can add a plus button, so we can do that later. So this tutorial sums this up. The first tutorial on making a to-do list app. I'm very excited to teach you about those kind of things, and I want to be able to help you with any app. I'm going to definitely have other apps in the future. I'm going to make probably like an Instagram app or or some other apps, so you could have really good experience in making apps. You can create your own app in the future. So another thing is with YouTube, I started 3 years ago. But when I was doing the YouTube, I wasn't really taking it serious. Lately, when I started back up, I've been taking it more serious because I want to provide a value. I want to help you guys become the iOS developer that you want to become. So that's why I'm making the YouTube videos. And I want to, if you could help me and even the YouTube algorithm, if you click on subscribe and click on the bell button, you help me out a lot. And I will definitely make a lot of more tutorials. I'm actually hoping to make tutorials every day now. I do have a full-time job, and I do have I'm a lead developer, lead iOS developer. So I want to be able to help you guys with anything that you iOS related. So see you in the next tutorial.